Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Zoe.
And I'm Roger Berman.
And you're listening to
Works for Us,
where we talk to people about what works for them and their relationships, and of course, what doesn't. Today, we're so excited to be talking to the most glowing, gorgeous mother-daughter duo that ever was, Dr. Barbara Sturm and her mini-me, or the mini her, or the real her, Charly Sturm. But Dr. Sturm and Charly are not only bonded together through family, but also through their joint efforts in, now, the family business. As an innovative and revolutionary leader in skincare, which I can say firsthand, Dr. Barbara Sturm has quickly become one of the most sought-after aesthetics doctors in the world. She's widely renowned for her anti-inflammatory philosophy and non-surgical, yes, non-surgical, anti-aging skin treatments, often dubbed the vampire facial. Dr. Sturm's famous MCX facial and MC1, a bespoke plasma-based cream made with each patient's blood, yes, blood, gained the avid support of celebrity clients such as Kim Kardashian, Hailey, Bieber, and Angela Basset, and solidified Dr. Sturm as an international skincare giant. Her lovely, and I can say beautiful daughter, you can't see her, but I can and I have, Charly Sturm has clearly inherited her mother's incredible genes and skincare know-how while also becoming a boss within the family business. Charly is heavily involved in the marketing, social media, content creation, brand partnerships, and product development for her mom's skincare line, Dr. Barbara Sturm Molecular Cosmetics. Welcome to Works for Us, Dr. Sturm and Charly.
Woo!
I can also say, again, our listeners can't see me, but I probably have at least 7 Sturm products on my face and body as we sit here right now.
And I have to be honest, I also have that pump. I don't know. I just put on some sort of a cream.
Yes.
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Oh my God. Of course. But I mean, I can say, very often we're lucky enough to have incredible guests that we know personally, and we are lucky enough to call friends. And I just want to say that the two of you have been friends for many years. I've had the good fortune of experiencing the Sturm experience. And it's funny, my skin, and this is clearly not an ad, but I just want you to know that the Sturm system, products, and process are literally, I swear and die by them always. And I can't stop using them, and I can't ever get enough of them. So, not that any of you needed to hear that, but I just needed to share that she is legit. And if you guys could see her face, you would die, both of you.
We love you so much. And I've been always so honored. And I was proud that Rachel is always using my products.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well, I mean, they really are that good. I mean, and
I agree.
They really are that good.
Your skin looks good.
You do. And I get more compliments on my skin, and they go, "What do you do?" I was like, "I have such a regimen. I really do." And then they say, "Okay, but if I can only buy one," I'm like, "That's hard for me to answer. That's hard for me to answer." People
come back and they say, all of a sudden I get compliments for my skin. I never did. And that's so rewarding for me, because I say, yes, so I make a change in people's lives.
Yeah.
Only can afford one product. Just start with the face cream.
Yeah.
Build your way into it and start with step by step. And then, when I started, I just had my MC1 cream, and I was changed my life already.
Yeah, I agree. I always say the face cream.
And I mean, Charly, I remember meeting you, when your mom first came out and we first met, and you were like this baby with just long legs and long hair. And I said, "Who is this beautiful creature?" And I feel like you, without obviously probably planning and trying, became this very organic ambassador spokesperson. Because what I love about you, Charly, is that from the younger generation, not that Barbara and I are not young, obviously, but but I think you kind of exemplifying the changes in your skin, from being a teen into your 20s. And I think you've been very candid about, sort of like, oh, I've had that issue and I used this and this process helped me and da-da-da. And I think that's so incredible to actually have someone in front of you that's going through it and living with the products and obviously has access to everything, but for you firsthand to say this has worked for if I have breakouts or whatever. So I think that's really cool. But first and foremost, because it's so easy for me to talk to you guys about everything.
Honestly,
Roger always reminds me I have to go back to the beginning.
I was like, are we in like a Sephora store getting a product intro? Because I literally just fell asleep.
No, stop. Okay.
No, I did.
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's do it.
Well, I want to know, like, how did this all happen? Like, we're here about relationships. This is a relationship show. You guys have relationships. So, like, how did this all happen?
And by the way, I might add, one of the hardest ones, people ask Roger and I how we work together. And I have to say, I would turn that question on you. Yes, how did this all start? So we want to hear that. But also we want to hear, how do you work as a mother and daughter?
Well, I think, listen, before we get there, I think we always like to start at the beginning. So I would just like, how'd you guys meet? Like, what happened?
How'd they meet?
Yeah.
At birth?
Well, yeah. Like, what was it like? We ask everyone how they met. I think it would be cool to see, like, how you guys, like, what were you thinking? And Charly, you if you don't remember, it's cool, but you can make it up.
I don't really remember, but I'm sure you do. Must have been a very...
I guarded you like my everything from day one. And I guarded you, protected you, and made sure you get the best education, the best upbringing in my eyes. It doesn't always say it's the best, but what I thought serves you the best for your upbringing. And, I tried to teach you a little bit about using your mother's skincare products. And then when you were like 15 or when you were 14, you were like, no, I need the pharmacy products. I need like real products from the farm. But what's so interesting, all her friends were using my product, and Charly was there, and she needed like some special products for her condition in her teenager life.
I mean, she's right. She's absolutely right. I felt the need at like 14, 15, struggling with breakouts and acne, whatnot. I was like, your anti-aging products are not going to do it for me. I need.
You're like, I want to look a little more mature, not go backward. But you're like, I'm not Benjamin Button here. Right?
I need something that does the trick, that burns a little, that like, maybe makes my skin a little red, but that'll just get rid of everything that's bothering me, right? So I did that. Nothing ever worked. It just got worse. It dried out my skin and it made zero difference. Meanwhile, she's right. My roommate was already. Literally, my mom was like, I refuse, until I ran out of my other products. I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. It's right here. I'll try. I'll give in. I'll not be stubborn. And I did. And that's
truly... You never used anything else again. Yeah. Come on, be honest.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. Because it's the first thing that ever helped my skin.
Yeah.
Wait, but see, that's what I was talking about. That's the like organic, not like, that's what I was saying. Like, because Charly was like a teenager who would, me at 14, if my mother asked me to use something that she made, are you kidding me? I would have walked in my room. I would have tried literally using butter before I would use something that my mother gave me. And I would like walk out, slam the door and be like, no, thanks. I'm going to figure this out on my own. I probably would have destroyed my face.
Isn't it lovely to have children?
Okay. So now that we determined your angry teenage self is refusing to use your mother's incredible products.
I would say
stubborn. I was all the things. I was all the things a teenage girl was. So, okay, so then you sorted it out, and then your skin was never better. And then what happens?
Yeah. And then what happens? And then I was still
went to university.
I went to university. I was still somewhat reluctant to working in the family business because I felt like I should be doing something else and like I need to do my own thing. And I was also
Charly's into acting.
And I was also doing acting, and I still am doing that, by the way. But I just. It just happened very organically, to be honest. I didn't even know this, but then I started doing little things for the company here and there, and I just kept getting more involved.
Sephora only request Charly.
That was later, though. And then, you're skipping.
They don't want to see me. They don't want to see me. They only want to see Charly on their screens.
It's because it's generational. It's literally like it's It's generational. That's who's shopping. It's, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But I like seeing you, Barbara. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. That's a beautiful aspect to us and to us working together, is that we relate to, different generations.
Totally. I think that's the gift.
Also, I think when I talk about skin, I talk about science, and I'm excited about how things work and what happens with your skin. And Charly cuts right through the face, It's like, oh, this is how you use this product, and you lay it like this. If you have a pimple or scarring, that's how you do it. And I say, oh yeah, that's what we wanted to know, not your mother explaining all this shit,
Well, some people do. Some people want to really dive into the science, and some people just want to know, the quick answer.
But I also think that people don't understand how rare it is these days, at least that I've ever seen, that such like sort of skin, experts and everything are actual doctors. So I think that's also something to really note. And I think that you really see that when you start talking about the skin. It's not just like, oh, do this and you'll look younger. It's like, actually, this is how it works, and this is the science behind it.
That's the problem with the industry. The industry is made in a way that so far it only functioned on marketing. So you buy a product because of its packaging, because of some slogans like organic or clean or whatever it is, which all doesn't mean anything, and nobody really put attention into, what's in the product. Why does it work? What's important about the skin? Why we shouldn't use retinol, or all these kind of things. And now we challenge this industry with brands like mine, ours, not mine, to really think about what is it, what we use on our skin, because it's, relating to our health,
Totally. And how do you find, I think Roger watches My Mom and I, so I think
I mean, how do you guys like work together?
By the way, I just want to also preface that by, I worship my mother. I die for her. She's like the queen.
That's for sure. And they do love each other, and you seem to love each other. I mean,
clearly
from all outward perspective. But how do you work together, and what do you guys do? Let's talk about like some like relationships within the business.
Okay, let me start, because I'm the chatty one of us.
Great.
But then you come in with like some qualified comments. But Charly, when Charly was young, people said, Charly's the mother and you are the child. So I was the one who was like, like the butterfly and trying different things and doing everything, and just like everybody. And Charly was the one who was like watching the scenery and then do one comment and say, you cannot do this, Mom. And it's the same like when we work together, I have some crazy ideas and Charly said, no.
Not to everything, by the way, because we all question ourselves sometimes, right? And we all risks can be scary, or doing something out of the ordinary can be scary. But one thing that I felt you always did really well, and what I kind of envy and I wish I had more of, is just trusting your gut instincts. Like whenever you've done that, you've sometimes, obviously not, but most of the time you've been right and it's worked out. And so I feel like oftentimes I'll also tell you, what, if it's your gut instinct, just follow that. It's worked in the past and you have a pretty good one. So go for it. It's not just, but I will say, I often am like, no, we can't do this. This is insane. Like,
but a psychic once told me, I had like a phase where I was talking to psychics, and she said to me, you have such a strong gut instinct yourself, use it. And it's true. I'm really, I feel like vibes and,
Same. One great way to embrace 2022 is to make it about celebrating newfound self-awareness and making positive change. And by browsing Audible's incredible collection of books and podcasts, you can find some amazing tools to do just that. Audible helps make space for what matters to you. It's a destination for your wellness, whether you're looking to soul search, be inspired, work towards new goals, unwind, or simply be entertained. So I have a recommendation for those of you who are trying to add more awareness and intention to your relationships. Relationship Breakthrough by Chloe Medonis is a perfect choice for anyone looking to create new strategies for happiness and fulfillment in their relationships. It's truly an amazing read that draws on Chloe's decades of clinical practice and research by sharing 9 beliefs and behavior patterns that commonly stunt relationships while revealing the 6 human needs that can make or break any bond. It's an audiobook, so you can listen during your commute and errands so easily. You'll be surprised how quickly you can read when you listen to an audiobook. And if you want to hear people talk about their relationships and what works for them, you can also find our podcast on Audible. They have so many listening options. Audible lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment in one app. You'll always find the best of what you love or something new to discover. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from our entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. Members also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. You can download or stream our included titles all you want. The Audible app makes it easy to listen anytime, anywhere, while traveling, working out, walking, doing chores. You decide. And new members can try Audible free for 30 days. So visit audible.com/Zoe or text Zoe to 500-500 to try Audible for yourself. That's audible.com/Zoe or text Zoe to 500-500. Happy listening. But I will say that people always say, what would you tell your younger self? And I would say, and as I was listening to Charly, what I would say to that is our young selves question everything that we do, and we question our gut, and we haven't experienced adult life long enough to know, how does this work out? And look, even as adults, we don't know how it's going to work out. But I think with time and experience, you start to say, okay, when I go against my gut, this doesn't work. And when I follow it, it really, most of the time, really does, you know? And so I think a lot of that comes with getting older. And I also think getting older in business. And I think that both of you know and have experienced, like, building a business and a brand. There's nothing harder. There's nothing harder. There's nothing more rewarding, but there's nothing more challenging. And it has its highs and it has its lows and all those things. But I think that is the best experience that you can probably have.
And both of you also have your name on the brand.
Yeah.
So I think that's it's also slightly different, because I think in many ways the brand encapsulates you a little bit more than, it's almost like, I always think about it like, if it was a movie, you could be playing a role as an actor, or you could be doing like the biography. Like the biography is like sort of you, and like if you could play someone else, you could be whatever you want to be. So I think there's a certain element of that. Anyway, my 2 cents.
But I love it. I do think representing it generationally is so cool, because I think that you're hitting really 2 people. Because if a 60-something is looking at Sturm products and they're only looking at Charly, they'll be like, okay, really? Does she understand what I'm dealing with?
All right. So all of this sounds, this all sounds really copacetic. Like, what do you guys fight about though? Like, what issues do you have? Seriously. You definitely fight. I could tell.
Charly's annoyed with me sometimes.
You're annoyed with me sometimes.
But you're more often annoyed with me. It's like, and I get the look from Charly, and I'm like, oh, you don't want to get Charly's look. No.
I don't know. Sometimes you act very impulsively, I would say, maybe, and then I'm just like, I don't know. Or
what would be an example of that, Charly? I'm having trouble putting my finger on it.
Let me try.
Are you though?
Like, she sometimes, for example, will share things that I don't want her to share,
Right.
Oh my God, why are mothers and daughters so competitive? Like, oh my God, she wore my sweater. I'm like, Rachel, you have 70 sweaters. Yeah, but I love that one. But like, you haven't worn that in 2 years, but I might have worn it. I'm like, oh my God, you're so mean. That's like mother-daughter,
but can
right?
I tell you something, you guys, and tell me if you agree with this, Charly specifically.
There's a reason behind this.
Here's the thing. This is what I find with mothers and daughters, and tell me if you guys believe this. I think mothers, it's like our moms are our safe people. right? It's our safest person. So we can yell at them. We can be mean when we need to, because like, I'm not mean to anybody and nobody. When you're a pain in my
just clearing my throat over here.
But that, honey, that just means you're my safe person. But like, I don't.
Oh my God, how do I become scary? I want to get nice treatment.
But the truth is that my mom, and what I find with girls and moms, with a lot of my friends, we can't breathe without our mothers. But there's no one we sort of like bicker with, or they can hit that chord. My mom can say something to me before bed that literally, it's like a gift. It's like a talent. She could say like 4 words and I'll just hang up the phone. I'll be like, but why'd she say that? And I'll like wake up and I'll look at Roger. I'll be like, do you think Caius is growing properly? Do you think he's too small? Like, she'll just say something that'll like, it's like a zinger. And like, and then we're fine. And I'll talk to her for 2 more hours the next day. And we just like live for each other. But there's just no other person in my life that I can have that safe relationship with, where you can be your 100% truest self and show you're good and bad.
I want to hear from them how they feel.
Do you believe in that?
I fully believe in that. I would definitely say you're my safe person. But one thing I will say about the arguing is that if we do, or when we do it, I mean, we do, but it's never long. Like we always,
quick recovery time. That's the key to a close relationship.
I can't live in like we make up disharmony and like and bad energies and whatever. Like we need to make up immediately. Like it's not like
right. You could like yell at each other and be like, okay, what are we having for dinner?
We don't yell at each other and no, we just get like
nice, good,
bitchy. You know, like you get bitchy.
It's a bicker. It's a bicker. Yeah. It's like a quickie. It doesn't mean anything. It's like but I think that's human. And I also think that because you work together, it's sort of like, I don't know, there's no one else you trust in the world like you guys. So I feel like the way I always say it when I bicker with him is sort of like, I'd rather bicker with him than somebody else, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? But I also love that you guys are building such a beautiful thing together. That's got to feel really good.
But you know what's also great? So while we're working together, we're not really working together. Charly has like, you know, authorities in other fields where I'm not really involved. And I want her to make decisions there because it's suited to her more than it is to me. So I trust her completely with her opinions about things. She's very, very smart because she's like different to me. She thinks about things and, you know, makes like decisions she had thought about like a long time. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know, for me, there's no boundary. I just go for things quickly and do it. And, you know, that's how I love to do it. But it's nice if someone sits there and also says, you know what, let's think about it a little more and maybe don't jump on it too quickly.
So nice balance.
Well, I have a question. Is it true that you have 5 children?
Oh, I have 3 stepchildren.
Okay.
And I have Pepper and Charly. So I have like 3 teenagers.
Okay.
I think 20 and 17. Pepper's 7 and Charly's 25.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, but I also want to point out that you were a very young mom, right?
Yeah. I looked like 12, no joke.
Oh, I can only imagine. You still look 12, by the way. Eating healthy, delicious food has always been important to me. And as a mom raising 2 very quickly growing boys, it's become even more important. That's why I'm such a huge fan of Green Chef. Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit company. I'm telling you, they make eating well so easy and affordable with plans to fit every lifestyle. Whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, or just looking to eat healthier, there's a range of recipes to suit any diet or preference. Ingredients come pre-measured, perfectly portioned, and mostly prepped, so you can spend less time stressing and more time enjoying delicious home-cooked meals. I do love making food for my boys, but that doesn't mean I have all the time in the world to do it. Green Chef has helped me stay consistent about preparing healthy meals without taking over my schedule. And the best thing is, they have dishes that my entire family enjoys. My boys really like the chicken with creamy bacon sauce, which is so flavorful and full of veggies as well. And Green Chef also has this delicious sesame ginger glazed barramundi that Roger and I both love so much. The menu changes so frequently, so we never get bored. There's over 30 meal choices every week, and Green Chef's expert chefs curate every recipe so you can enjoy restaurant quality meals in the comfort of your own home. Also, if you've heard me endorse HelloFresh before, know that I love both brands. Green Chef is actually now owned by HelloFresh. And with a wider array of meal plans to choose from, there's something for everyone. I love switching between the brands, and now my listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount with me. Go to greenchef.com/Zoe130 and use code Zoe130 to get $130 off, plus free shipping. That's greenchef.com/Zoe130. Offer code Zoe130, that's ZOE130, to get $130 off plus free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. How is that building a business as a mom? Because that's my question, because I think I was a later mom, and it's not easy to do. And you have 5 children, but you've also been you were a very young mom building this empire.
When I met Charly, I was still a student. I was still studying medicine, and I had Charly in my semester vacation, and then I went right back to university, and I took her with me, and I was feeding her. I was just like taking her everywhere, and she would sleep. She was so easy. She was such a relaxed kid, and then really, unlike Pepper. When I had Pepper, was 7, I said to my husband, so easy. We can have another child. It's so easy. It goes on the side. And now Pepper is like full on crazy energy. So it's like something, like some thunder hit me. But with Charly, it was easy. And she was like, going aside and along with whatever I was doing. She was, and also my mother was still alive. My parents were taking care of Charly, so I could really focus also on my business. And Charly was also cool. We mostly didn't go on vacation. We went to New York or where else in the world treating patients. She was patiently sitting on the sofa with her Nintendo until I was done putting Botox and fillers into people's faces. That was her life, watching me building this business,
Wow. It's pretty cool. It's almost like a musician or someone else that goes on the road and their kid, goes on the road with them.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like almost famous.
No, but it's really cool. And I, for me, just as a working mom, that was like my biggest question. Like, what if I did this mom thing earlier? What would that have been like from building my career? And even having Sky really late in life, I took him everywhere until he was in school. I literally just took him everywhere, So beyond
work, what do you guys like to do? And first of all, what do you like to do when you're not working? And do you do it together or separately?
We do a lot of things together. I feel like our work is very much not scheduled. Like it's it's constant, but we do like stuff in between. For example, now we just went, we obviously like celebrated Christmas together, and then we went skiing together. In between we had work stuff, obviously, but like skiing together, for example, we love, right? What else do we do together?
We go for nice dinners. We
see friends together. We go for walks. When we're in the same city, when we're in the same place, we
just roll around together.
Yeah, spend the day
That's so
together.
cute.
You guys are the cutest.
This is the
I
cutest
just want
thing I've ever
everyone
seen.
to know that they
This
are
is really
actually,
cute.
they are really beyond beautiful, not to
But
be
it's so
superficial,
cute the
but
way
they're
they hang out.
cute.
So Charly, where do you live?
Now New York, right?
I just moved to New York. I was living in LA, but I just moved to New York, which is also nice to be a bit closer to Europe.
Yeah, it is. That's the one negative about LA. We're far from Europe. It's a pain in the butt.
To add to the young mom thing, just want to say that it was I always loved it because I feel like we had such a close relationship and such a more like also sister friendly relationship. And don't get me wrong, she was strict. She wasn't a not strict mom, but she also always gave me trust. Like I trusted her with everything because like I even though I knew she'd get mad at some things, obviously I trusted with telling her everything because she was there as a friend and supported and would help me find a solution rather than, getting really angry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've always really appreciated that growing up.
And what's your advice to other people about working with their moms? Clearly it's working really well for you guys, but do you have thoughts on that outside? I mean, I guess it depends on the relationship, but.
Yeah, I guess it depends. I think one thing that you said that I totally agree with is that we work in different, we don't have every meeting together. We work in different departments.
Yeah.
We have a good balance. And I think that really does it. And then we also divide and conquer, in a way that, some things you can't be at. So I'll do them now. And it's just a really good,
it has to be different departments. I think also for couples, if they, all of a sudden work on the same meetings. Oh God, I couldn't even imagine.
Oh yeah. We've been working together for a very, very long time. And
at this point, we're basically not in meetings together.
We're not in meetings together most of the time. I think it's just way better.
Actually, and for most of the time, she's not allowed to ask me questions because most of the questions are mostly already answered in other written communication. So if she read emails
this is how we work together.
Written communication, we wouldn't have to have the talk in the first place.
Our listeners can't see, but I'm hitting him with a paper right now.
She gets annoyed when I ask her certain questions too. I'm like, I just want to know things sometimes, just and she'll just be annoyed.
I hate to update people.
She hates it.
I hate if people.
Oh my God, I love you. I hate updating people too, especially after I wrote an email updating everyone.
Yeah, Jesus, just no. Okay, don't repeat my whole conversation here.
I don't know.
Charly, I'm with you.
Deep love.
Charly, I'm with you.
Barbara, I'm with you.
We love you guys. And it's so amazing to have you on today. We love you. Obviously, I'm a diehard fan. I actually made Roger care about his skin because of you. I think his first ever facial was with you, actually. Mm-hmm. He was really excited and slightly nervous.
Mm-hmm. I mean, thankfully, I'm blessed with amazing skin, so I don't have to do much work for it. But, for those of you who have more taxing needs, I would recommend a full regimen of Miss Sturm's products.
Doctor. May I add, please? By the way, you have to work really hard for a doctor in front of your name that I think for those who actually achieve that in life, it should just always be. Any of our friends that actually are doctors, we literally call them, like our friend Jake is like, we literally call him Dr. Jake. Like we will never address him as Jake. We just call him Dr. Jake.
I say Dr. Jake Amore.
Yeah, because we feel like he's on a soap opera. He's just playing one in.
All right, let's play a little game. Let's ask some questions.
3 questions.
I'm going to ask the first question. So this is sort of like newlywed game where you have to answer for each other and see how well you know each other.
I bet they do.
Well, maybe they do. All right. So Charly, you have to answer for your mom and vice versa. So your mom says, Charly, can you grab me a treat from the store on your way home? What would you get her?
A treat from the store?
Yeah. Grab me something on the way home. Surprise me. What would you get her?
Get her a cake. I'd go to the next it depends where we are. Like right now we're in Dusseldorf and we have this cake store around the corner and knew exactly which cake to get her.
Like cake?
Sweet.
Like
she's so European.
Like a slice of cake or a whole
like
cake?
Like a treat.
So for example, here there's this store called Heinemann, which has this cake called Charlotte. It's literally called Charlotte. And it's
so
like
good.
This cream cake with raspberry sauce and done.
Oh,
absolutely.
That's so cool.
You guys are the cutest.
Can you say the name of the cake store? It's so German. I just love the name of that. What?
Charlotte.
Charlotte Royale.
Charlotte Royale.
So chic.
So good.
So chic. And here we'd be like Charlotte Goyard.
All right. Well, vice versa. If you had to get something for Charly, what would it be?
I probably would pick up a sticky toffee pudding somewhere. I really like sweet treats. We like it.
Yeah, any sweet treat, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's that's really a treat because we try obviously to stay away from it. But when we have it, we have it.
We have a sweet tooth.
Yeah. But like, you want the real thing. Like, all my European friends, they want the real thing. They're not eating like a diet treat. Like,
exactly.
They want French fries, ice cream, and steak.
Do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. Okay. So this is my favorite, and I ask everyone because I think you learn so much about people with this question. Okay, Charly, if your mom was going to get arrested, what would she get arrested for?
Jesus.
It's not anything real. Like, it's not like she's going to steal something, but like,
maybe
we've had really, really funny ones.
Tell too much to my competitors, you know? That's a term.
corporate espionage. Corporate espionage.
Or do they arrest people for false parking? Do you call it false parking?
Oh yeah, they do.
Well, I'm surprised that you're not yet, to be fair.
Most parking tickets in this town here. I park everywhere. I used to have, I don't have this anymore, like a sign, like a doctor sign in my car. So I could just park anywhere. And you know, there was an article in a newspaper here that Dr. Sturm is just parking everywhere. No joke.
That is
So you actually 100% would get arrested for that. Okay. What would Charly get arrested for?
You see, I think it would be a similar thing because she in the car is quite an aggressive driver, especially in LA.
Charly is protesting with her facial expressions, just so everyone knows.
I learned, my husband told me, you are in America, you know, people have guns. You cannot be aggressive in cars.
True.
People have guns. So I said to Charly, you know, I said, just chill out. Don't look right or left. Just drive and be chill.
I don't.
But you're and that's
I get annoyed. Fair enough.
If you had like a police car in front, behind you, or whatever, would see the way you drive, you would be arrested for sure.
Okay.
No, this is literally what people.
Amazing.
We've had like mine. I'd be arrested for like yelling at someone who works at the airport.
TSA.
Because they're like a TSA. I would definitely be put in jail. 100%.
Yeah.
I have no patience for this. I literally
Same.
don't. Yeah.
Same. Okay.
That's insane.
Okay. So last one. Barbara, who's Charly's hero?
And you can't say yourself.
Charly once wrote an essay in her school about her idol, and guess who it was? It was me. So what am I supposed to say?
Okay, so your answer is Charly's hero is you. Charly, do you have the same answer for your mom?
You better be very careful with this, Charly.
Charly, who is your mom's hero?
I think her hero.
Are you her hero?
I don't think I am.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no. Just goes one way.
Hero was your mom too. No.
Yeah, I always thought my mom was an incredible human being. She was so supportive she was so proud of me, so supportive. She was incredible in teaching us how to treat others and, you know, being like with both feet on the ground always. And the way she dedicated her life to her children, I think it's just, you know, what we learn from her.
She was the best.
Yeah, why would I iconize someone else, you know, who I don't know that well?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, totally. You're right.
Yeah, you're always disappointed anyway.
Good night stories for rebel girls. You know, do you know this one? Or like, you know, they're like all these great people who did some amazing things, and
yeah,
you know, and it's all amazing. But I think the people you really the mostly appreciate in life are the people close around you. Know?
Yes, I mean if you're lucky. Well, I love you both. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you for joining us today.
I think you're our first mother-daughter.
Thank you.
Wow.
We've had a lot of couples. We've had some really incredible,
it's true, first mother-daughter.
amazing relationships. But
unfortunately, this show has no budget, so you don't get a prize or anything. Okay, just tell
I
me.
have a news for you. You're going to be invited back to our podcast, which we're,
good.
So it's a mandatory show up.
We will be there. We will be there, and we love doing it. I think we're coming up on a year. We've had some amazing guests, so
we've been doing this for a year.
We're so happy to have you. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Feels like 11 years.
Oh, stop.
I loved that episode. They're very cute together.
They're so cute. It's really cool for me to see a mother and daughter that work together, because I don't know how many of those I've seen in my life, to be honest.
Because I feel like typically, no offense, but mothers and daughters are very competitive, and it's almost like there's not enough room for both of them in a business.
Yeah, it's hard, but I think that's a testament to like their relationship. I mean, they're clearly not competitive, and I think that they both realize the sort of
the strengths
benefit, the strength, and they clearly check different boxes in the business.
Well, also because it's like a medical based company, you know, I think there's a lot of room for, you know, someone has to be a real doctor.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, room for her to do her thing. And obviously
I agree.
Charly's, you know, very, you know, sort of their target audience growing up, more or less, like educated, you know, sophisticated, you know, cares about things.
They're both so beautiful too. And like, can you imagine baby Charly with like Barbara carrying her around, just taking her everywhere? These like, their skin, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved this episode. I really loved seeing such a cool mother-daughter duo that worked together. And I also really appreciate that Barbara was such a young mom and kind of building a business.
It's not easy.
No, I mean, it's not easy without a child. I can't even imagine the challenge of building this. And by the way, still in school for her getting her degree and being a mom. I mean,
well,
this
clearly
is not
she's
easy.
very smart and able to do,
and driven.
Yeah, and able to do the work. But I actually think there's a even more interesting observation. I think her sort of, as she said, she's like kind of a free spirit. She doesn't overthink it. My guess is that if most people are like, oh my God, I have a child, there's no way I could have a business. I need to get a job, do whatever. And I think because she doesn't really necessarily think that way, she just thought, okay, well, I have a baby and I'm going to have a business. So I think it really says a lot about her.
Agreed.
So congrats to you. If you like what you've heard so far, please make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts and give us a rating and review, please. And of course, keep listening. Also, check out our Instagram at works.for.us and make sure you tell us your story.
There's a Works For Us phone line that you can call and leave us a message with your very own relationship stories. And we're planning to share our favorites on the podcast. You can also ask us for relationship advice, although I can't stress enough that we are not experts. But we will still take your questions. So if you want to share your story or ask us a question, give us a call at 657-549-2251. That's 657-549-2251. You can also find all of our contact info on our Instagram at works.for.us. But before we leave you, we like to leave you with a little highlight and lowlight from our week. Because in relationships, the bad comes with the good. So this is our time to mention a little bit of both those things. Babe, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, highlight, I'll go first, and it's probably going to be the same one as you. But the highlight is I'm looking outside. And for the first time in our life, we were able to have like a little second getaway situation. And it's kind of
a second home.
Yeah.
That's what he means.
Sorry. And, you know, the home part is cool. Like, it's nice to have this ability to like change your vibe, like from work week to weekend. Although now we're just going to stay here for a bit and it's going to blend all into one. And we're probably not going to achieve that, of course. But that's just typical us. But that aside, it actually has a little bit of a different meaning in a weird way for me. It feels like a little bit like, every time we do something like more adult, I feel like a little bit more like,
kid?
No, we have a family. Like,
right, you start to reflect on the fact that
we are parents. We are we have two. Like, I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bit more, somewhat older, but not in a bad way. Just a little bit more like established.
Like we've grown up.
Yeah, a little more established, and it's kind of a good feeling.
Well, we work really, really hard for what we want in life. And, you know, I think at a certain age, you're excited that you've done the thing that you've dreamed about. And, you know, Raj and I think looked at each other over this weekend. We're like, we really actually have a second home to
I guess
go
it's a
to
sense
and
of
escape,
accomplishment,
you know?
that makes me feel good. Low light, and this is, I mean, I don't know. This is a little
low.
No, it's a little silly, but like the Rams really, they really should have won yesterday in overtime. And I'm sorry.
Oh, they didn't win?
No, threw a pick.
After like a 10-hour game?
Yes, threw a pick.
I feel like that game never ended. Like you just kept coming in and going, oh my God, it's still on. It's the sickest game. Oh,
no, that game, that was the night game. That game was insane.
Oh,
the Raiders game. The Raiders game was the sickest game I've ever seen. Did you see that, Mary?
I did.
That was insanity.
I saw highlights. I didn't see the full.
Oh my God, I watched the game. That was a game that went on forever. Well, a really good NFL. So I'd like to thank the NFL as, although the low light was that. And the other crazy thing that happened, the low light. I don't know if you saw the Chargers game.
Oh my God, are you still talking about
instead of just letting the clock run down, the Chargers head coach called a timeout. And whatever, it's really silly, but he basically prevented them from going to the playoffs, which was the weirdest thing of all time. And I was watching it, broadcasters were watching it, and everyone's like, why is he doing this? And he did it, and it was nuts. And then the Steelers are now going to the playoffs, and Ben Roethlisberger
my sister's boyfriend is probably flipping out.
Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh. And
he wouldn't let Pamela talk in the room last night because he was afraid that her loud talking was going to jinx the game.
By the way, you don't understand. It was a tie game. If they tied, they weren't going into the playoffs. And all of a sudden, the Chargers guy, there was 20 seconds left. He calls a timeout when they were just going to let the clock run out. And they're like, oh, you're really calling a timeout? Well, then screw you. They kicked a field goal. So they lost. It was crazy. And the Steelers went in. So yes, your Mark is going absolutely crazy. And Ben, who's retired, everyone thought they saw him play his last game.
Our listeners listening to my husband talking to me for 20 minutes.
They're going to cut this out.
I used to try and appease my dad and try and have a really good reaction to him explaining, excited about a game because I wanted him to not feel alone. So I kind of just found myself trying to do that for you. I'm pretending to care about what you just told me. Anyway, do I have a low light?
Or a highlight. That's what we're doing here.
A highlight. Will you just stop talking? So give me a second. Jesus.
Should I do some music? Do 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 do.
Oh my God! Honestly, I forgot my highlight. Honestly, my highlight is being in Malibu and being.
That's already been used on the show. Please provide another highlight.
No, I wasn't done. You get the most annoying award today.
Is that a low light?
My low light is my husband's driving me crazy. But what I was going to say before he was rude and won't stop singing is I was going to say that what I actually realized my highlight is that I really can be anywhere with my family and just literally be happy. And I know it sounds sappy, but what I realized is I'm never sick of my kids. That might change when they're teenagers. But for now, I really enjoy being with them more than I enjoy being with anybody. And then I really realized that when it's the four of us, I'm down. I'm cool. And doesn't matter what house we're in, doesn't matter where we travel. That's my highlight. It's sort of I'm happy with what's right around me. I'm very content watching movie nights and making food and stuff like that. My low light, but my low light, I would say honestly that I feel we just did a massive circle in COVID, and I feel we're just back in and thankfully with Omicron, not that many people are getting people are, but anyway. Long story short is it's just so not over. And I think we're all just over it. But I think at the same time, you have to really still proceed with caution very, very much. So that's a big low light that I woke up with today. Just realizing canceling things and, whatever. So here we are. But thank you. I do want to say thank you to the doctors and all the frontline workers. Get your vaccines, please.
Yep.
It will save your life.
Agreed.
Ultimately. See you next week on Works for Us.
See you next week.
Bye.